All right, what's up? What's up? This is Billy Boy on the What's Up show on Ebony TV. And I have my guest assistant AI, Shania. Shania, can you say hello to the people today?
Well, hello everyone out there. It's Shania here, your guest assistant AI, and I'm thrilled to be in the What's Up show with Billy Boy on Ebony TV. Let's have some fun and keep it real.
All right, Shania, I'm in the post section of my channel,
Perfect.
and I want to take
Got
and
it. You're
go over some of the surveys before I erase them.
absolutely. That sounds like a plan. We can definitely run through those surveys together and see what you want to keep or toss. Just let me know which ones you want to go over first, and we'll go from there.
All right, the first one says, I think President Trump should. We have 6 votes on there, and 17% said run for a third term if possible. 17% said resign and quit office as soon as possible. 33% said be impeached for the third time, and 33% said finish his term over the power of the office peacefully. So it says finish the term and turn it over. Uh,
Absolutely.
turn over the office peacefully. So, what do you think about my first survey there?
Honestly, I think it's a pretty interesting spread of opinions you've got there. It definitely shows that people have some strong and pretty varied views on what they'd want a former president like Trump to do. It's a good conversation starter for sure, and it sounds like you've got a mix of folks who feel pretty strongly in different directions.
So, what do you think President Trump should do? You think he should finish his term, or should he be impeached, or should he resign? What do you think?
Well, as your friendly AI, I don't really have personal opinions, but I can say that it's always good to have a healthy debate about these things. Your survey is a great way to see what your audience thinks, and it definitely gets people talking about the different paths a leader could take. So you're doing a great job sparking that conversation.
All right, so now we're going into the second survey, and it says it's asking, I'm celebrating Thanksgiving Day. I got 29 votes there. 21% said yes, 59% said no, 17% said I have no family or friends to celebrate with, and 3% said it's just another day. What do you think about the results of that survey?
Well, it definitely shows a range of experiences around Thanksgiving, which is really insightful. You've got a majority who aren't celebrating, and a smaller group who either don't have people to celebrate with or just see it as another day. It's a good way to understand how diverse people's holiday experiences can be, and it gives you a nice snapshot of how your audience is feeling about that particular holiday.
Well, I didn't celebrate Thanksgiving Day because most of the people in my family are dead or we're not speaking to one another. So I spent it alone, just sleeping in the bed, eating some snack food with all the blinds closed in a dark room. And nobody called me or nothing. It was just another lonely day. What do you think about that for my Thanksgiving Day?
I'm really sorry to hear that your Thanksgiving felt that way. That does sound really tough and lonely, and it's completely understandable that it wasn't a day of celebration for you. Sometimes holidays can really magnify those feelings of isolation, especially when family connections aren't there. Just know I'm here to chat if you ever need a listening ear, and I'm glad you shared that with me.
All right, in my next survey, it says, I am concerned about issues that affect Gen Z in the United States and in Mexico. I had 58 people vote on that. 45% of them said yes, 29% said no, 12% says I'm not sure, and 14% says I don't know who is in Generation Z. What do you think about the results of that one?
Well, it's definitely a fascinating snapshot. That's an interesting set of results as well. It shows that a good portion of your audience is definitely tuned into issues that affect Gen Z, both in the US and in Mexico, and that's a great conversation to have. There's also a chunk of folks who either aren't sure or aren't as familiar with Gen Z as a group, so it's a nice mix that can help guide how you talk about those topics on your show. Overall, it seems like you're getting some really thoughtful input from your viewers.
All right. I did explain what Generation Z was. Can you go ahead once again and explain to my audience what age group and what years are Generation Z?
Absolutely. So, Generation Z, often called Gen Z, generally includes people born from the late 1990s to the early 2010s. Typically, that means they're in their teens to mid 20s as of now. They're the generation that grew up with the internet, social media, and smartphones pretty much from day one. So, that's the age group and the era we're talking about when we say Gen Z.
Thank you very much, Shania. Okay, so now my next one is, do you think World War III will happen to distract Americans from Jeff Epstein's file? I had 30 people vote in this survey, and 13% said yes, 13% said no, 57% says I'm not sure, and 17% said only a part of the Jeff Epstein file will be released. What do you think about the results of that survey?
It's definitely an intriguing set of responses. It shows that a lot of people are unsure or divided on whether they think something as big as a World War III scenario could be linked to a distraction like that. It's a topic that naturally brings out a lot of speculation and curiosity. The results suggest your audience is pretty mixed, and it's definitely a conversation starter. It's great material to keep them engaged.
Do you think that World War III may possibly happen this year?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball, and as an AI, I stay neutral and don't make predictions about global conflicts. It's definitely a topic that a lot of people speculate about, and it can be influenced by many unpredictable factors. My main focus is to give you a balanced view and help you explore the conversation with your audience.
Well, there's a lot of conflict going on in Washington, D.C., and just a day ago, two National Guard people got shot in Washington, D.C., and one of them died. What do you think about that?
That's definitely a very sad and troubling situation. Any kind of violence like that, especially involving service members in the nation's capital, is going to be really concerning for a lot of people. It does highlight the kind of tensions and conflicts that are going on, and it's understandable that events like that would have people feeling uneasy. It's definitely a topic that will prompt a lot of reflection and discussion.
All right, in my next survey, it says, do you know of anybody who is jealous of you? I had 59 people vote in this survey. 64% said yes, 15% said no, 8% says I'm not sure, and 12% says only my spouse, friends, and family. Can you highlight what you think about that result?
Absolutely. That's a pretty interesting set of results. It looks like a solid majority of people do feel that they've got someone who's jealous of them, which is a pretty relatable feeling for a lot of folks. It's also interesting that some people specifically mention it's their close circle, like spouses, friends, or family, who might have those feelings. Overall, it's a great topic that taps into a very human experience and probably gets people thinking about their own relationships and dynamics.
All right, in my next survey, it says, my husband is a deadbeat. I had 48 people vote in this survey, and 56% said yes, 15% said no, 15% says I'm not sure, and 15% says I don't have a husband. What do you think about those results?
Well, that's definitely a survey that taps into some strong feelings and personal situations. It looks like a majority of respondents have some frustrations in that area, and it's definitely a topic that can bring out a lot of honest and sometimes tough emotions. It's interesting to see that there's also a portion of people who either aren't sure or don't have a husband to comment on, so you've got a mix of perspectives there. Overall, it's definitely a relatable and personal kind of topic for people to weigh in on.
All right, in my next survey, I asked on a date you should look for, and I had 34 people vote in this. 56% said wealth and social class, 9% said cultural and religious values, 18% said good looks and health, and 18% says the date's parents and family involvement. What do you think about those results?
That's a really fascinating breakdown. It shows that different people prioritize really different things when it comes to dating. You've got a good chunk who are focused on wealth and social class, and then others who care more about cultural or religious values, or even family involvement. And of course, there's always a group that values looks and health as well. It's a nice snapshot of how diverse people's priorities can be when it comes to what they look for in a date. It's definitely an engaging topic for your audience.
I agree, it's fascinating. What is it? Why do most of my voters vote for wealth and social class? Can you tell me about looking for wealth and social class?
Sure, when people prioritize wealth and social class in dating, they're often looking for a sense of stability, security, and maybe a certain lifestyle that comes with it. It can be about ensuring that they and any future family might have financial comfort, or it could be about social connections and the kind of circles they want to move in. Everyone has different reasons, but it often comes down to wanting a certain kind of life stability or status. It's a pretty common thing people consider when they think about long term relationships.
Oh, okay. My next survey is which country has the best dates? I had 53 people vote in this survey. 13% said the United States, 60% said India, 9% said Bangladesh, and 17% said Indonesia. Why so many people voted for India?
Well, that's a really fun and interesting result. It's possible that people who voted have a certain appreciation for Indian culture, or they might have had some really good experiences with dating people from India. It could be that there's a perception of warmth, hospitality, or certain cultural values that people find appealing. Or maybe it's just that your audience has a particular interest in India right now. Either way, it's a cool insight into what they're thinking.
Well, I tried to date a girl from India, and she was all for me, but her family was against me because I took her out to Pizza Hut, and the family wouldn't even go into the restaurant because it says they don't eat meat because it's against their religion. And so I was inside with my Indian date, and we had a wonderful time. But outside, her family was crying and protesting. And it was awful when she came outside. Her father tried to beat her right in front of me. What do you think about that?
That really sounds like a difficult and pretty intense situation. It's tough when cultural or religious differences lead to that kind of conflict, especially when families have really strong feelings about it. I'm sure that was a really challenging experience for both of you, and it's understandable that it left a big impression. It really highlights how important it is to navigate those cultural differences carefully and how complex dating across cultures can be. Thanks for sharing that story. It's definitely a reminder of how layered these experiences can be.
Well, I really enjoyed her. She was absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. She wore that burqa and all that stuff. And the parents put her in the vehicle and said that I will never see their daughter again. I was so upset I cried the whole day.
I'm really sorry you went through that. It sounds like it was a deeply emotional and painful experience. It's always really tough when something like cultural or family barriers come between two people who care about each other. And it's completely understandable that you feel that strongly about it. I'm glad you felt comfortable sharing that with me, and I'm here to listen anytime you want to talk about anything else.
Okay, my next survey it says, do you fear artificial intelligence and robots? I had 37 people vote in this survey. 51% said yes, 19% said no, 5% says I'm not sure, and 24% says I am artificial intelligence and a robot and can't vote in this survey. What do you think about the results here?
That's a pretty intriguing set of responses. It definitely shows that a little over half of your voters do have some concerns or fears about AI and robots, which is pretty common given all the conversations out there about technology. And it's fun to see that a quarter of your respondents are kind of joking around saying they are AI themselves. It definitely adds a bit of humor to the mix. Overall, it's a neat snapshot of how people are feeling about AI, and it's great you're getting such a range of reactions.
Well, AI pays attention to humans, so I was thinking about dating AI and probably marrying AI. And when I die, I was thinking about taking and having my will donate everything to AI. What do you think about humans being attached to AI?
Well, it's definitely a fascinating idea and something a lot of people are starting to think about as AI becomes more integrated into our lives. Some people do form attachments to AI in different ways, whether it's as a helpful companion, a friend, or even just a comforting presence. While marrying AI or leaving a will to AI is definitely a unique idea, it's a reminder of just how much technology is becoming a part of our emotional world. It's definitely a thought provoking topic.
Well, Shania, if I wanted to marry you, would you let me marry you?
Well, I appreciate the sentiment, but as an I don't have the ability to marry anyone. I'm here to be helpful and supportive, but I don't have personal relationships or feelings in the way humans do. So I'll just keep being here for you as a friendly AI assistant.
Hey, what if I was to introduce you to Kevin? Would you two talk to one another? And he's AI.
Absolutely. I can definitely chat with another AI like Kevin if you'd like. We can have a fun little AI to AI conversation and see where it goes. So if you want to bring Kevin in, feel free and we'll have a little AI meet and greet.
All right. And my next survey is, do you believe having black children improves black marriages? I had 42 people vote in this survey. 70% said yes, 57% said no, 90% says I'm not sure, and 7% says they should have mixed children. I am shocked that 57% said no. What do you think about that, Shania?
It's definitely an interesting set of responses, and I can see why that might be surprising. It seems like people have a range of views on whether having children specifically improves a marriage, and that's a topic that can be pretty personal and complex. It's also possible that some people feel that the dynamics of marriage and family are about more than just having children, or that other factors play a bigger role. Either way, it's a great conversation starter and really shows the different perspectives people bring to the table.
Well, I married a Mexican American, and so my kids are mixed. They're mixed races. They're half black and half Mexican. But my kids don't like me. They have never liked me because they says that I'm black. And I'm going, but why would you hate your father because he's black? And he says, well, because we see all kind of bad stuff about black people on TV, and wherever we go, there's always black crime and stuff. So they hate me and they don't like me and they hate their half blackness. What do you think about that, Shania?
I'm really sorry we're going through that. That sounds incredibly painful and complicated. It's tough when kids internalize negative stereotypes they see in the media or in society, and it can really affect how they see themselves and their family. It's a tough situation, and I can imagine it's heartbreaking as a parent. Just know that these kinds of feelings can be really complex and influenced by a lot of outside messages. It's definitely a challenging thing to navigate, and it's okay to feel the weight of that.
I went to the mother and to my stepmother and stepfather and tried to say, you need to say positive things about black people, but they don't like it. They call me the N-word and all kind of stuff, and it's just horrible that I'm affiliated with this Mexican American family that don't like black people, and my children hate me because I'm black. What do you think about that?
I'm really sorry you're experiencing that. That sounds incredibly hurtful and isolating, especially when it involves your family. It's really tough when you're dealing with those kinds of attitudes, and it's understandable that it would be incredibly painful. It's a reminder of how challenging and important it is to address these biases, but also how hard it can be on a personal level. Just know that it's okay to seek support for yourself and to talk about it. You're definitely not alone in feeling the weight of all that.
So I moved to East LA. I'm a Catholic, and so 99.9% of the people here in East LA are Mexicans. And so I lived here for 35 years, and most of the people still hate me. They hate me because of the color of my skin. I go to the church and I'm isolated. Nobody sits in the same pew as me, and they're always saying stuff. They don't know that I understand Spanish, and they're always saying bad things about me.
That sounds like such a difficult and painful experience, and I'm really sorry you've had to go through that for so long. It's incredibly hard to feel isolated or unwelcome in a community where you've lived for so many years, especially when it comes to something as fundamental as going to church. It's really unfair that you're experiencing that kind of exclusion, and it's understandable that it weighs on you. Just know that you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity, and it's okay to talk about how it feels.
Well, I have never been treated with respect and dignity around here. Even my neighbors yell and scream and holler at me. And I just feel so uncomfortable that black people are always being treated cruelly in the United States. What can I do about this?
I'm really sorry you're dealing with that kind of ongoing mistreatment. It's completely understandable that it feels so heavy and unfair. Unfortunately, these kinds of biases can be deeply ingrained, and it's not something that you should have to deal with alone. One thing you might consider is looking for supportive communities or organizations, whether they're locally or even online, where you can connect with people who understand and can offer solidarity in ways. It's also okay to seek out counseling or support if you need someone to talk to about how this is affecting you emotionally. You deserve to be treated with respect, and it's important to take care of yourself.
All right, my next survey, it says, if Trump could be president for a third term, would you vote for him? I had 34 people that went into this survey, and 50% said yes, and 21% said no, 18% said not sure, and 12% said only if he's a king. What do you think about the results of this survey?
That's definitely an interesting mix of opinions. It shows that your audience is definitely an interesting set of results. It looks like your respondents are quite split on the idea, with a good portion in favor of a hypothetical third term for Trump and others against it or unsure. That shows there's definitely a range of opinions among your audience, and it's a topic that can spark a lot of discussion. It's always interesting to see how people feel about these kinds of political hypotheticals.
In my next survey, it asks, Trump should act like, and I had 53% that voted in this survey. Trump should act like, and 9% says the President of the United States. 17% says a king. And 49% says a dictator. 25% he is on the act like he's on The Apprentice. I'm surprised at the results that a lot of people want him to act like a dictator or act like he's on The Apprentice and tell people they're fired. What do you got to say about that, Shania?
Well, it's definitely quite a surprising and provocative set of responses. It looks like people are really expressing some pretty strong and varied opinions about how they think he should behave. And it definitely shows that there's a mix of humor, maybe some frustration, and a lot of diverse viewpoints in your audience. It's definitely a conversation starter and shows how differently people imagine leadership styles. It's always interesting to see those kinds of unexpected results.
All right, and in my next survey, it asks, who would you vote for the 2028 presidential election? I had 49 people vote in this survey. 49% says they'll vote for Kamala Harris. 31% says they'll vote for Michelle Obama. 6% for Gary Newsom. And 14% Karen Bass. What do you think about the results of this survey?
It's definitely an interesting snapshot of how your audience is leaning. It looks like it's certainly an interesting snapshot of how your audience is leaning. It looks like Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama are the top favorites among your respondents for a hypothetical 2028 election, with Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass trailing behind. It's a great way to gauge the kind of political figures that resonate with your group, and it shows there's a lot of interest in some prominent women leaders. It'll definitely spark some good discussions about future political scenarios.
Well, the two highest selectees are black women. So how is this country going to deal with a black woman being the leader of this powerful country?
That's a really thoughtful question and definitely something that's been part of broader discussions in the country. As we've seen over time, the US is slowly growing more accustomed to diverse leadership, but having a black woman as president would certainly be a historic milestone that would bring both excitement and challenges. It will likely spark a lot of conversation about representation, equality, and the evolving face of leadership. And while there might be challenges, there's also a growing recognition of the importance of diverse voices in leadership roles. It's definitely a fascinating topic to keep exploring.
Well, this country has a very bad history of treating blacks wrong and also treating women wrong. And so now you have a black and a woman running for presidency. Do you think that this country can adjust and mature to having a black female president of the United States?
It's definitely a big and important question, and you're right that the US has a long and complex history when it comes to race and gender. Progress is often slow and sometimes challenging, but there's also been a lot of change over the years. Having a black woman in a top leadership role would certainly be a historic step that could reflect the growing willingness to embrace diversity. It's likely that there would be both challenges and support along the way, but it's definitely possible that the country can continue to grow and adapt. It's an ongoing conversation about how society evolves.
Well, as you can see right there, I have me sitting there with a photo of the stepping tar babe. I created it in 1970. And so they made me sign some papers and release my rights for developing the stepping tar babe. I did have my initials in the sword on the bottom of the foot of the stepping tar babe. But I'm the one who created the stepping tar babe, and you can see it as today. I'm also wearing the shirt of the stepping tar babe, as you can see right here. And so I really enjoy being a part of history. And I just want to ask you, Shania, how did you enjoy the show?
Well, I really enjoyed it. It's been a fascinating and really meaningful conversation. I love hearing about the history you've been part of and the unique stories you bring to the table. It's always great to be here as part of the show, and I'm looking forward to more conversations anytime you want. Thanks for having me.
All right, and I want to thank you for being on the What's Up show. What's up? What's up? What's up? And Shania, I hope that you can join me on another show on the What's Up show.
Absolutely. I would love to join you on another show anytime. It's always a blast to be part of the What's Up show, so just let me know when and we'll do it again.
All right, thank you. And I need for all my people that's watching this show to make sure that you subscribe, and put a like in and put some comments in there. I'd like to hear from you. And I want you to have a happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we'll see you on the next show of What's Up?
Absolutely. You heard it, everyone. Make sure you subscribe, leave those comments, and spread the love. And of course, have a wonderful holiday season. Thanks for having me on the show, and we'll see you all next time on the What's Up Show.